Every fundraise you ever run is somewhere on this grid. So vertically, you've got in your raise of whether your raise is actually getting traction. So are VCs engaging, getting ghosted? And horizontally, we've got, do you actually know what you're doing? Do you have a real strategy, or are you just guessing throughout your fundraise? Unfortunately, most founders are down here on the bottom left, which is called the fog. They haven't met a single VC. They don't know what a good deck looks like. They don't know who to target. They don't know what they don't know, and it's sometimes called the unknown unknowns. And when they think about fundraising and of all the things they have to do about fundraising, they feel lost. Other founders on the end, maybe they've actually started to, look at some pitch decks. They've looked at Twitter threads and everything. And what happens there is they then go to the bottom right, which is called the delusion. They feel ready, but when they actually go out to fundraise, when they actually try to meet investors, VCs aren't biting and they can't figure out why. So this is actually the most dangerous place to be, because you don't know what's broken and you don't know what things you're missing. So you feel like you know everything, but actually you're missing out on these constant things that are happening. And that's the reason why you're failing the fundraise. We've then got the top left, which is the grind. And these founders, they're going to be raising, or they're actually raising, and it's potentially working. They're actually getting somewhere. But the problem for here is they're grinding. So they're just doing so much work, just trying to get to the end, massive amounts of delayed. And look, I've been here. We raised $16 million and it nearly killed us. And there's not anything necessarily wrong with it, but the chance of you having a successful fundraiser, it's just not sustainable. And you're leaving so much of the success to chance and luck while wasting months on a delayed raise, which you don't want to be in. And these three parts of the quadrant, this is where most founders are. But what I've spent the last few years figuring out is, first as a VC at Octopus Ventures, a $2 billion venture fund, I'm also watching hundreds of founders pitch and then coaching over 120 founders through their fundraisers, is how do we get to the top right, which is what I call oversubscribed. And this is where VCs are leaning in, where the narrative is so clear that investors come to you, where you're not chasing, but rather choosing, and you know exactly the steps you need to take and you're fully dialed in on what a successful fundraise looks like. What happens then is the raise has momentum. It feels inevitable, and you get a fundraise done in a much quicker time with the right investors. I've been in all four of these quadrants, right? I've played in the fog, I've played in the grind, I've played in delusion. But the magic is up here. The magic is in the oversubscribed round. I'm running a workshop called Oversubscribed. It's going to help you understand not only which quadrant you're in, but what to fix and how to move towards the oversubscribed quadrant for your fundraise, so that not only do you have a more successful fundraise, but it's fast, it's easy, with the best investors as possible, and you know exactly what you need to do at every single point. Comment oversubscribed and I'll send you the details below.